Hey there, it's Youth Pastor Sam, just coming to you for a quick Covational on Good Friday. I gotta get my morning cup of tea. But today is Good Friday, and Good Friday, as some of you know, is the day where we remember and call to mind the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. So some 2,000 years ago, there walked a real man named Jesus. He was from the town of Nazareth, and he performed miracles, he gave teachings, he did incredible things during his life. And this time is the time where he predicted that he would die. He predicted that he would be betrayed, that he would be sent to death, he would die on a cross, and that he would rise again. And so today is that day when we recognize his death. But if you are reading through the account of his life, and you get up across the point where it talks about Jesus's, when it talks about his death, there's a statement that he makes. It's a famous statement, and you can find it at the very end of most of the books of the Gospels. And it's this statement. It's a very famous one. It says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Which is a very puzzling statement, right? We believe that Jesus is God. He's God the Son, right? We believe in a holy Trinity, and that's a whole other topic for a different time. But in that moment when Jesus is crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" it leads people to wonder, what was he getting at when he said that statement? Well, if you can see here, I have my Bible open to the middle of it, not towards the end where the Gospels are. The reason for that is I have it open to the book of Psalms. And in fact, Psalm 22, verse 1 starts off with this statement, my God, why have you forsaken me?" There's a connection there, right? Jesus was actually referring to Psalm 22, and the reason why I can say that with certainty is because back in that day, rabbis would quote part of a psalm or part of a chapter or part of a verse of some part of the Old Testament, and their learners, their Padawans, if you want to use a Jedi term, the people that they taught, their students, would immediately go in their mind to that place in Scripture. And so when Jesus cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" everyone who knew the Psalms would know this passage. It is a long chapter. I encourage you to read it for yourself. It's about 31 verses, not too long, but long enough that if I were to read it all in a Covational, we'd go longer than you'd probably want to listen to me in the first place. But this psalm, it gives us three things to remember and to bring to mind on this Good Friday. And the first would be this, that if you are going through a time of difficulty, especially right now, where you're quarantined, you can't go out, you can't go to school, you can't be around your friends, you have to be stuck with your parents, right? Or whatever it is. If you're going through seasons of difficulty where you might want to cry out, God, why have you forsaken me? Then you can relate with Jesus in this. And in fact, I encourage you to read Psalm 22 because it's a lament, which means it's a sad poem. It's a sad poem talking about how life can sometimes suck. Second thing that it tells us is that even in the midst of tragedy, even in the midst of lamenting or being sorrowful about life, Jesus still brings his problems to the Lord. The psalmist still considers God throughout this psalm. There are many different verses in here where it says, you know what, Lord, you brought me out of the womb. From my very mother's womb, I have learned to trust in you. There are so many insights to the character of God that are only learned as we approach him in times of sorrow, in times of hurt. And the third thing is, at the very end of this psalm, it makes a turn. It makes a turn from, I am so distraught about my situation, which is okay, 2, I will declare your name to my brothers and sisters. Right? In the congregation, I will praise you. So he's turning his gaze to the Lord. At the very end, the very last couple verses here, it says, all of the earth will feast and worship. All who go down to the dust will kneel before him. Those who cannot keep themselves alive, posterity will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord. They will proclaim his righteousness to a people yet unborn, for he has done. The third thing that we can learn from the psalm that Jesus shows us as he died on the cross is that, yes, this was a momentous occasion. Yes, it was the greatest tragedy that ever happened on this earth, but it wasn't the end. It was not the end. It was actually part of his plan all along, that through his death, we could be saved. We could be saved and we could proclaim the good news of God to everyone who we encounter, to our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and our enemies. So that through it all, through our hardest time, through our deepest tragedies, that Christ would be exalted even in our lives. So I encourage you today, ponder on the cross. Ponder on the cross of the hurt that life brings with it. Bring it to the Lord, and third, find ways to encourage others and to share this good news with them as well. So that's my encouragement to you. I hope it has been helpful. And I hope to see you through a screen during the live stream service for Good Friday tonight. This is Pastor Sam, the Covational for you. Have a good day.